Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Lilivete channel. Hello, how's everybody in the world today, tonight, afternoon, any your time? So today is Sunday here in the Philippines. So mega love shout out to all my members and to all my new subscribers who subscribe my channel. Hello, how's your day or how's your night? And of course, to all my pioneer viewers and my pioneer subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for giving time to my channel. So we're gonna wait for a few minutes, then I will start our topic or context. The weather here in the Philippines is so nice. Okay. Not raining. It's sunny. So our subject is this a myth or fact? Filipina feed her husband so he gets fat, so women are not attracted to him. Hi Trex, hello, good morning. Have you heard this kind of thing about Filipina? I hear that. Thank you so much. And then later on, I will, I haven't heard this before, but I'm not surprised. Well, now, you know, well, I will discuss that later. How young are you? Because you always tell that you're young. How young are you? No, you're not. You're grown. Because because wait, for female, 18 years old, right? For men, 21. So you already reached that age, so you're no longer young. You're grown. You're grown, man. How is my, how is my audio? How is my, how is my video tricks? Is it, because I can see that, my movement, it's quite slow. So, how is it? Is it okay? My audio and then my video? Audio is good, video is good. Thank you so much. Okay. So, time here is, because like, I don't want to mention your, on your 8, it's almost 8:30 here, so that would AM, so that would be 8:27 PM. And then later I will, I will discuss top 5 country in Southeast Asia who consumed rice more than Philippines. Top 5 or top 11 countries in Southeast Asia who consume rice per day. Okay. Toronto. I have friends, that's why I have t-shirt that Vancouver, Canada. I have friends. He's a blogger. And then, as you can see that, I do interview him in person, Jeffrey. Um, and then, well, that time, he has girlfriend, Filipina girlfriend. I don't know if they married now because last year I think his girlfriend giving birth to a twin. Both are boy. So the name of his channel is Jeffrey M Blog. He's been here for Philippines for many times. Okay, if it's cold in Canada, he come here to in the Philippines. Twin, yeah. So are you looking for your mate or you're in relationship? Okay, so I already stay here for 10 minutes and then I'll wait for more minutes before I start. So waiting for waiting for my people coming and then we're gonna start. I just got out of bad relationship with Filipina. Oh my goodness, sorry to hear that. Oh, mega love shout out to Miguel. He always call me babe. That's so sweet. Don't forget to give me like, Miguel, huh? And of course, my dear brother Ryan. Hello. How are you, Ryan? But you know what tricks? You're grown man. You can find the right woman. Okay, there's so many chances that you can able to find. So meaning she's not for you. All right? Oh, by the way, Trix, would you like to be part of my membership? Feel free to click that join button. You know, my membership is not really pricey. Just about less $1. It's okay. I learned a lot. I know there's other Filipina out there. I'm just taking it easy. Yes. Yeah, well, we people, once we failed, it's just like it gave us lesson, to learn our mistake. But some, once they failed, they blame themselves. No, you don't have to blame that because, like in a relationship, so meaning that he or she is not meant for you. Okay? So I'm not a very religious person, but this is how I look, when it comes to relationship. God gave us a chance to know the person, and then if that person don't show effort, don't show seriousness, or don't show sincerity, meaning he or she is not meant for you. Find a person that you have something in common, not only for the first year of getting to know, but it's just no need, actually, this is what I noticed about relationship. Majority of us, we want instant result, which is not right. Give your time, before you commit to, okay, would you be my girlfriend, or he would be my boyfriend, things like that. 1 year, I think 1 year, not 2 months, not 3 months, or what, 1 year. But this is what I noticed, that majority of us is just like, oh, we want an instant result. But when we do that, we also encountered instant failure. But I have someone else I'm talking to know different vibes with this other lady, more genuine or genuine. Oh, that sounds great. Well, like I said, you're still more years to come to find, you know, real person who really stick in your side. You still have so many chances. Take your time. Okay? Because but not much rice. Well, it's just like I know the reason why Western people are not really into the rice, because you're more onto bread or pasta. Because here in the Philippines we don't have wheat. Okay, it's so hard to plant wheat here. Instead of that, we plant corn and rice and other carbohydrates. Okay, like root crops. Now, um, some okay. I don't know, guys. Yeah, it's just like funny, but I'm gonna talk that later. Okay, so here we go. I will start now. I will start now my context. Okay, feel free, guys, to ask question. Okay, don't hesitate, and I will appreciate that. If you have question. Oh, by the way, guys, for those who wants to come here in the Philippines, okay, if you want to visit Philippines, feel free, to contact me, because I can be, if you want me to be your, tour guide, I can be able, to assist that if the price is right. All right. So, and then for those people wants to contact me to ask, like like consultation, uh I will not do that thing if you are not serious, or just want to know about my private life. um if you want me to answer your question, the first thing that you're gonna do is, just you can send super chat on my channel, or you can send donation to my PayPal, and I will cater your concern about that, guys. Even though I'm sleeping, I'm gonna get up and answer that to you. Okay, so if you ask something about personal life without that clicking the dollar sign or what, I will not. Sorry to say this, because there's a lot of you guys. I'm not saying all. Okay, there's some, they just uh, take advantage for that. And then I spend time with them. At the end, I end up disrespect about the question, but they don't really want to admit it, that that's their intention. But me, I'm not really mean person. It's just like, if I smell something not right there, I'll totally distance myself to those person who wanted to contacted me, that really wants to know about my personal lives, my relation. So it doesn't matter for me if you want to ask something like personal question, but just click that dollar sign, and I will, I have my words. I stand my words, and I have honor. Okay. It's just like, some people are very curious about my private life. That's why they just want to contact me on my WhatsApp. So I don't want, I don't want that. It's okay, I think, for me, it's okay to ask personal question if I'm single. Okay. I will, I will. Oh, thank you so much. Bravo. Okay, this is for you. This is for you. I really appreciate it. This is for you, tricks. Maraming salamat. You know what that means, tricks? Oh, my dear friend, Joseph. Hello, how are you, sir? Okay, good. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. You understand what I said? That sounds good. You're fine. That part, I don't know. That's Spanish. So I said, thank you so much, my friend. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. Amigo means friend. Muchos, thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Okay, so are you ready to hear, guys? I can speak a little Spanish, guys, because I think until now, the nada. It's still, we still use some, Spanish words, in Tagalog language. All right. But I really want to speak Tagalog here, but it's just like I don't want people. Well, how about Bisayan? Oh, Bisayan, what you mean? Bisayan? Bisaya? Okay. So I can speak that, okay, before I'm gonna start our main context. So Bisayas, I can speak that daghang salamat. Daghan means thank you very much. Well, in thank you very much. That's in my in Bisaya, like Cebu, Davao, Bohol. That's their dialect or language. So daghang salamat. In my mother tongue is that's in uh, Hiligaynon. Madamo nga salamat. Southern Philippines, yes. Southern Visayas. Yeah, that's why, it reminds me that, there's some people that they cannot really sell me like if they talk Bisaya or what, because I understand. Okay, so that's it. That's it. Okay, so but now we're gonna move to our main subject. Wow, it sounds like I'm a teacher here. Okay. Guys, I would like to, and I would like to ask a favor for those ones to send donation, because I really want to have a green screen. Because you can see, guys, I don't have a green screen. As you can see, guys, there's some part of my thing. Okay. So for those wants to donate or sponsor my green screen, just like uh 1,000 pesos, so I can able to have that about like $20 in USD. So uh my channel is open to accept sponsorship, okay? So that you will not see like this, guys, because I don't have a green screen, what do you call it, monitor. So once I have a green screen, it will not look like this. It's gonna be like normal or original. See? Okay. It's just like I just mentioned that, guys, for those who wants to sponsor. All right. So I really appreciate. So now let's go back to our subject. Myth or fact: Filipina feed her husband so he gets fat, so women are not attracted to him. What do you think, guys? Okay, so here's the description. No, this is a total myth with no truth or basis in Filipino culture or practice. There's a old, light-hearted childhood superstition used to get kids not to waste rice. Okay, finish your rice. I remember, guys. I remember when I was a kid. Okay, let me finish first. There's a saying: finish your, especially for those Filipino parents, finish your rice, or your future spouse will have a pimples or look ugly. It was never about wives intentionally feeding husband rice to make them unattracted. Okay, it's just like when you was when you was a kid. It's just like that's how our parents, what do you call that, threaten us. Okay, like when I remember that every afternoon when I was a kid, we have to take a nap. But when you was a kid, you don't really into that. Okay, it's just like, oh my goodness, is this another torture of your of your childhood? Because like our time for taking nap is like 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. So it's just like 1 hour or two more about that. We need. And then by the time that actually we eat lunch 11 e.m. so that we have 1 hour rest before we start to taking a nap. And then when you was a kid, you enjoy playing. Okay, it's just like, oh my god, you don't really have into that mode to sleep or to taking a nap. So sometimes I do cheating about that. I just pretend that I'm asleep. So when my mother out, go to her garden, I just wake and I start playing. But by 5:30 or 6 o'clock p.m., I start sleepy because we eat 7 p.m. dinner time. So by 6:30, our eyes is like that. So my mother knows that we cheat on that. So she always threatening us, like, at that time, I love to watch Incredible Hulk. The actor is Lo Ferrigno. Incredible Hulk. Hulk is when he get mad. You can see that, for a kid, you're gonna scare about that. So that's the time that, oh, we have to eat that because Hulk will get us. Ay, so funny. So it's not true, guys, that Filipina feed their husband more rice because, actually, for those Filipino guys here in the Philippines, less Filipino. This is the fact. Okay. As you can see, guys, I don't know for those Western people come here in the Philippines, visited Philippines, guys. As you can notice, guys, that, as like example, we eat a big bowl of rice, but the meat that we have, that is just like just one slice of meat. We're good about that because that's, that I consider rice is our filler, to feel full for that. But when it comes to eat like, meat, we don't really have that much. So the rice is the replacement for us to feel full. Hi, Himlata. Good morning. Hello. Thank you for coming. I think it's just more or traditional thing caring for their boyfriend or husband feeding decently than something bad. Well, when it comes to the tricks, we Filipino are very hospitable. Okay, that's part of hospitality. So have you noticed that, I don't know with your ex before that if she always tells you, have you eaten? What do you want to eat? Well, some Filipino women are not like that, but, majority of us, we have that kind of personality that it's not the thing that we want to feed you. It's just like, if we love you, we care you. That's how we shown love. Okay, that how we shown love to the person that we love. Okay, so here's the where the idea comes from. Okay. So here's, the explanation facts. Rice is the national staple. It's eaten in almost every meal out of tradition, hospitality, and nourishment, not for any malicious reason. That's how we treat people. Like it's just like I explained, from the start that, we feel in the Philippines it's hard for us to grow wheat. So instead of that, we have that kind of weather, to plant more rice, more corn. But when it comes to wheat, we don't have that. Our, our we export, export, no, 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 we import flour in different country. So we don't have that. So we don't have that kind of um, situation that, like in the West, that instead, like in the states, they can use bread or a potato for the rice, because I know American potato is life, okay, but in the Philippines rice is life, same thing, okay. We eat potato, but we don't really eat pure potato. So potato, we use that for other dish that we cook. I love potato, but it's not that I can eat. This is what I notice. If I eat a lot of potato, I always release a lot of gas. I don't know, for those, Western people, okay, Joseph, if you eat a potato, you don't have that feeling, you always release gas. But me, I do. But the thing is, oh yeah, that's good. My goodness. That's so yummy. I like lumpia, especially, tricks that, freshly fried lumpia, because here's the thing, guys, that, when I have visitor coming here in my crib, when I cook food, if I have lumpia in my menu, that's the last food that I cooked. Okay, because the lumpia, it takes like about an hour after you cook, it's gonna be soft. So it's good to serve while it's warm, because you really enjoy the stuffing, and of course the lumpia wrapper is so crunchy, and it adds umami flavor when every time bite you have. And of course, my favorite sauce is sweet chili sauce. Oh, so good. Now, now I'm thinking I'm gonna make a lumpia. Okay. So number two, guys, Filipino culture values caring for family, including providing good feeling food for loved ones. There is no custom or belief that giving rice is meant to make someone less attracted. Well, it's just like, I think that kind of saying, it came from, Western people. What do you think, Tricks and Joseph? Filipino food just depends on who's cooking it. I've been eating some great meals here. Yeah, I agree with that. Because it's just like, as a Filipino, it's not the thing that, uh, I have, I have opinion about that. Okay. And, for those Western people, okay, don't judge the book by its cover. Just like the food, okay? Don't judge the food until you taste it. Okay? Taste the food first before you say about that food, okay? Don't comment about the food without testing. All right? So that's that's my my opinion about that. I like I'm watching, like, in Thailand there's a lot of there's a lot of insects that they sell in the um, their street food. Okay, the only insects that I would love to try is grasshopper. Nothing else. Nothing else. Whatever they call that, any kinds of worms, I don't want to try that. But it really triggers me, and it's so intriguing me to try the grasshopper, because a lot of people try that in Thailand. It tastes like, the flavor when they chew it. It's similar to taste of peanut. I want to try that, okay? But nothing else about insects. But I really want to try the jumping shrimp salad. But it's just like when they clean on the water, I really want to suggest to rinse uh clean water, because some they just in in an aquarium, they just get the the live shrimp and then put it in a mixing bowl, add some herbs and spices. So I prepare to them, to let them, to rinse it, because there's a lot, even though that's they are it's clean, but there's still warm. If my Filipina feed me lots of rice, I just exercise. Lol, maganda. It's just like, actually, because you're still on the age that your metabolism tricks, it's kind of fast, no matter how much rice, when I was in my my younger age. Oh my god, I eat a lot of rice, but I'm so skinny because of my metabolism. It's so fast, I don't gain a lot of weight. But at my age now, I can't do that. I can't eat rice every day because my metabolism is so slow now. So I have to control my, myself to not to eat rice every day. And of course, Frank don't really want me, unless I put something on the rice that has flavor. Because he said that once he eat rice, it's easy for him to, to get hungry again. I had a grasshopper. It's very salty and crunchy, but never. Where did you try that, in Thailand? Oh, salty. Yeah, no, I never tried the cricket, but I would love to try, the grasshopper. The grasshopper, well, if you go to Thailand, that's how they explain the flavor, how Thai people cook, the grasshopper. It because there's a lot of Filipino bloggers went to Thailand, okay, and then their explanation is, the more you eat the grasshopper, the taste just like a peanut. Guys, I've been watch about, in Alaska, there's river salmon, and then there's a Filipina married to Alaskan man. So in the river, they catch, they catch big, a freshwater salmon. That's, the bear eating. When she fillet, I saw a lot of worms, guys. So what she did, she explained that, they cannot eat that raw. So they eat that, they cook, they do a smoke salmon. Because I can see, guys, that, freshly fillet, but you can see there's a lot of worms. That's why they said that, when you saw on the video that, some bear, when they, they still have worms when they do number two because of that kind of salmon. So there's a salmon that used for Japanese, like, their sushi or sashimi. But that's one thing that, Frank don't really want to eat that because the worm. Okay, so and then says no. Now when I saw that, guys, because I don't know what kind of salmon that they sell here in the Philippines, because I love salmon head. So I make that, salmon head soup. I start not to like because I saw a lot of worms, guys. Even though that, when they catch that, salmon in a river, and then when her husband fillet, and then she close up, and there's a lot of worms, and then she said that's the reason why they don't eat that raw because of that worm. So they make it sure that, they smoke so that, the worm will die, and that's the time that it's safe for them to eat. But, I start not to like that because I saw, there's a lot of worms, guys. It makes me scared about that. So I think there's so many kinds of salmon, but she said that, that's from the fresh water. She called it native salmon. That's in Alaska, because I can see, guys, huge salmon. And also for those Western people, if you have Filipina girlfriend, don't be afraid of that, because that's is not the fact, guys. That's a myth. Okay, it's not true. The reason why um we grown that we never get tired as a Filipina, Filipinos, or me as a Filipina, we never get tired of eating rice. Okay, so don't be afraid, don't be scared about that if you're Filipina, because it's part of our uh, culture values, carrying our family. So meaning that Filipina really loves you. Okay, it's not the thing that, she wanted you to become fat. No, it's not. Okay, avoid that in your mind. So, and of course, like I said, that it's part of our hospitality, or hospitable to our, to our boyfriend, to our husband, that, we feed rice. It's not the thing that, you want, to attracted, because, here's my thought process, guys. Okay, no matter what, if the man wants to cheat their wives, that kind of myth or that kind of fact, it will never work if your man or your woman will cheat you. Okay, since Lilibet, I found Filipino women are very bossy and mean. Yeah, Sam, like I said, Ryan, that, not all Filipino, as, they have personality like me or other Filipina. It's just like, women or Filipino don't think that, all Filipino are friendly. All Filipino are nice. No, it's not. Okay, it's according their environment, it's according how where environment they belong or they grow for that. No, I don't think that, especially from Western people, don't think that all Filipino are nice, friendly. No, it's not. Even me, a Filipino, I'm a Filipino. I also, guys, encountered some of my people are very snobby on me. Okay? So it's just like I'm not really pay attention unless below the belt, because that's the time that I gonna, wait a minute. Slow down, slow down. Okay? I will not, but it's just like, the thing that, okay, these people are not, these people are, they are nonsense. All I need to do just ignore them, because here's the thing that, guys, why should I pay attention to these people? Are they the one who feed me? No. That I will affected what they're doing? No, I will not. My eyes, it's itchy, guys. Hold on. Let me, because I'm going to sneeze. Okay, from Joseph, I have to put something on my rice, gravy, vegetable. I just can't eat plain. I like garlic rice. Yeah, it's just like we Filipino. Well, what I mean is, yeah, it's not really good, but it's just like if you're really hungry for those less Filipino, yeah, they have no choice. They need to eat. They just eat rice. Sprinkle with salt, or mix with soy sauce or what. They're good with that. But anyway, guys, no, people living in the countryside, they're very productive. They plant their own vegetables, so that's the thing that, they can mix with, with their vegetable, how they cook their vegetable. I don't know. Okay, but as long as you're in the province, you will never get starve. Okay, if you are not lazy. Because here in the Philippines, some people that they have huge land, you can ask a little favor to those owner of land that you can, if you ask them, they will let you plant. Like, like my grandpa. My grandpa has a huge land in my hometown. Okay. And then some of the land is not really occupied to plant sugar cane, rice, and corn. There's a vacant land. So they asked my grandpa if they can able to plant this like sweet potato, cassava or vegetable, so that they can, feed their, my grandpa is easy, it's easy to talk, man. So yeah. And then of course, they give some to my grandpa. And also same thing with my father, if we have sometimes, there's a vacant land that we don't need to plant sugar cane or any kinds of road crops. When they ask my dad, yes, they can, as long as you're not gonna get that land, you're free, to cultivate that land. A lot of Western people think Filipino are dumb and easy. No, it's not. Because here's the thing, guys. Same thing in your country. Same thing that we go to school also. Okay? It's just like, I have, there's a survey, guys. There's a survey, a question. Like, American, a vlogger. And then they go to a different school, okay, and then they ask about how many country in the United States. They said 8, 7 country, and then it makes me, you mean, they don't really understand that, um, USA is a continent, and that's a North America, right? I know, North or South? South, right? And then what? And then they said how many country, and how many country in the United States. They said, what country in the United States? They said uh, California. Oh my God. They don't really, they don't really listen. So there's no country, just one, USA. But if they gonna ask, because they ask, some tricky question. If you are not paying attention, you're gonna say that. But if you know about the history, so that that's the states, right? 50 states. So it's just like, wait a minute. When I realized that, when it comes to education, USA is the high standard of education. Why these people, they're in the university, why these people answer that question? Anyway, so let's go back to our to our main subject. Before that, yeah, it reminds me about, way back during the pandemic, guys. The passport bro thing was so trending. And why these brothers, they preferred to pick Asian women or other women in other countries like uh, DR, Colombia, Philippines, Thailand. So now that black women reacted that, they always, if you don't have that 50,000 a year, you're broke. And then they want a 6 tall man. Height doesn't really matter for us. Okay, what matter us? How you treated us. Okay, so why they have to kind of that qualification? But if you're gonna ask to themselves, they don't have. You demand this kind of amount of salary that a person has yearly, but you don't have. What the heck? So that's the time that we they said that I saw that in TikTok, they said that uh like black women comment about uh like those country that I mentioned, especially Filipino. We cannot barely speak English. We're not educated. We're dirty. And then, but I'm so honored, to hear those black men when they do have that. Yeah, he is. So when the black man said that, but they train to become a good wife. And then all of a sudden, they are so quiet. So now, when Filipinas, when we hear that some of my people, particularly Filipinas, they fight back about that. And then that's, when they realize that, wait a minute, they are not as, as what they think. Now that issues, it's over. They never mocking us. They never understand that, we Filipina, we have so many beauty queens won on the pageant. And you can really tell that we Filipina, I think, we are the best race that, you can really tell we have a perfect color. We have a perfect beauty. No, I mean, not literal perfect, but you can really tell that, uh, our skin color, guys. I don't know how to explain that. Passport bro wave was big then. I remember it was so many people were upset. And then I don't know, guys, if you watch this, she's my friend, Juan, the Filipina tigress, and she's the one fight back for those black women sales. And then there's a issue, guys, that there's a content creator, black woman, reacted about my friend Juan, the Filipina tigress. She said that before you say anything to a Filipino, why don't you fix your wig? Oh, they get upset because my friend Juan, she in her TikTok, she do like this on her hair. She's pulling her hair, tells to all black women that her hair is not fake. Okay, she do like that. This is my original hair. I have silky and smooth long hair. So she said that she fight back, and they get so upset about that. Okay. And then there's one thing that when Joanne, my friend, but she's no longer no longer active on her channel. She was guest interviewed with with the famous Dennis, who's that? I forgot. He's a famous next to the one who passed away. He's next to that. And then about some black women tell us that we're dirty. Come on, we're not. Okay. Here's the thing, guys, that Dennis Sperling. Yes, she was interviewed by Dennis Sperling. You told one. No, actually, to be honest with you, Joseph, it's just like happened that Frank is told. But if Frank is not told us that, I still accept him because I don't look, I don't, I'm not really into that, I want, I appreciate how he treated me, how he looked things. He's just not looking for himself, especially plan in the future. He always part. I always be. I always be part of his plan. So that's what attracted. I attract him. Not that his height or what. So many guys move on, never look back on Western dating. I don't blame them because I did the same thing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so if there's a chance that you can go to other countries and that woman can give you a love, real love, and peaceful mind, then for me, if I'm the man, yeah, I will do the same way. Why should I spend my money? Why should I spend my time to a woman that don't value me, don't respect me? No, I will not do that. All women like tall men, just like men like young women. Actually, for those young women, what matters, for me, what matters to me is, my safety, my security, my assurance to the man that I'm dealing with. It's not the look, it's not the age, it's not the height. For me, Well, actually, that kind of, thing that's for these young people, just like for young men, they love young women. They never think that for those young men, pick the young women, they never think that it's a headache. Pick the right woman, right age, you will have a peaceful life. You don't, your husband will not, oh, here we go again, she gonna use every time that young woman go out with her friends, the old man will always, oh, she gonna use my credit card. It's according, for me, it's according how, but just like, for this is facts, guys. Okay, for older men like 60s, 60s, 70s, you pick the young woman. Do you think that the young woman can able to adjust what things you really want, what things you really look for your future together? No matter how good you explain to them, they're gonna listen, but they're gonna release in the other hole of their ear. It's hard for them to adjust. Like the music, it's hard for them. They don't really like your music. Okay? Well, when it comes to bed, that's advantage. But if you are in that age, I don't think that you will enjoy about that with a young woman. Even, the young woman will not. Because they're in the peak of their body that they are very, very aggressive on that. So they're looking for the man that same stamina. So that's the gonna end up that, oh, you cannot really perform about that. So maybe it's time for me to find a man that can really. No, it's just like there. I don't really go into that. What matters to me is the man. How, for me, how men treated me. I really value on that person. Okay. Rice peace, fun, teamwork, understanding, future planning. Yeah, that's why tricks, you don't have to rush yourself to find your mate, because remember what I said before, that we have partner in life. Our partner is already born. But it's just like the thing, it's up to us how to find them, how to find her, how to find him. Because we people, it's hard for us to find our mate, because we can't go on the straight path. Okay, there's a lot of us that it's easy for us to tempt. That's why it's hard for us to find our mate. That our mate is already waiting for us in the bottom of our path. So that's the reason why. Take your time, okay? If you think that if you don't have that something in common, you're not compatible with each other, stop right there. Don't don't gamble your time, don't gamble your future with her, or don't gamble your future with him, because it will never be work. Okay, so take your time. How does it take? 1 year. 1 year. You don't have to take more time for that, because you might realize, oh, I'm too old for this. Once you're too old for that, you get tired. You don't want to find your mate. Okay? Don't take it too long. Okay? 1 year, that would be enough, to talk to her, to know him. Okay? Take that word from Lilibet Tate. Because it worked, guys. It worked. Because that's how that's the way I work. Or that's the way I working with my relationship to friend. And see, we're gonna celebrate our infinity anniversary next month. Okay, true. So if you think that you are not something in common, don't continue. It's just like you're just wasting your both time. You have to pick the person that you have something in common, guys, because it's easy. It's easy to have that. If there's a problem, it's easy for you guys to fix that. Don't take, I have an advice for you, tricks. Don't take a Filipina full of drama or full of tampo. And don't take a Filipina too jealous. Very celosa, very jealous. No. It's not healthy. Okay? It's not. How much more if you're gonna husband and wife? Okay? Don't. It's okay to have a little jealous or to a little tampo, but if she gonna use that as her habit, you have to stop and find another one. Okay, what you think about? Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. I'm not putting down of this OFW, but they are very good in playing games. So be careful. Be careful about that. I'm not saying all, but majority, they are good playing games. They're very good hiding secret. They're very good hiding their personality. Okay, so the thing is, when I mentioned about, I stopped a while ago about those black women tells that we Filipino are dirty, and then they said, guys, that we Filipina, we do shower every day. If it's summer, we do shower twice, okay? Especially during the night time, okay? We don't go to our bed without cleaning our body, okay? We do number one, we always wash with water. And we do we still always have that of feminine wash, And then when my friend Juan tells us that, we dirty, why your men coming back to us and pick us instead of you? They get so upset because my friend Juan said that we clean our meow meow so good. And then when your men chase it, they're crazy about our meow meow because it's not as funky as yours. Oh my goodness, they get so mad about my friend, about the meow meow thing. Because yeah, we're right that we wash our meow meow. We don't wipe it. We don't. I know American people, they don't wash, when you do number two, guys, you don't wash we don't wash your anus with soap and water. We Filipino, we do. Even though you wipe it, the smell is still there. Even though you wipe it so clean, but the smell is still there. So that's when they get so mad. They end up that, some black women, they have a channel, they invite her, they mocking her, but my friend Juan so fight until they cannot really resist, because she always tells facts. It's not bluff, okay? So she end up was blocking on the panel. They really but my friend you want still fight for the because they think that that's how we think. That's No, it's not. She be jealous, then I sleep on the mattress in the middle of the street. Oh no. You won't do that. Why you have to sleep on the street? You have so many options, okay? You have so many options. You have so many chances. If that person treated you, then next. Come on, Tricks. Meow meow. Yeah, meow meow. So yes, me, oh my God. No matter how I go to bed late, I can't go to bed without cleaning myself. Okay? I can't sleep about that. Okay? So, that's the thing, guys, that, especially if it's summer here, we Filipino, we take a shower sometimes twice, sometimes three times. It's according, the weather. If it's summer, guys, oh my goodness. And then our hair, especially we Filipino, where majority of Filipino, we have a long hair. Okay. Lilibet, she wants to wash my clothes, clean my house, and cook my food. I never had that before. She say that's her job. Oh, that's so sweet on her. So you're so lucky to have her, because she appreciate you. She really take care of you. So that's Filipino values that some women in other country don't have that. So yeah, we Filipina, especially we have a long hair. Okay, I'll make sure that one of the dirtiest part of Filipino. With the human is our hair. Especially we Filipino, we have a long hair. We don't want our hair so smelly. Okay, we don't want that. So, and then I can say, especially the I saw that, I thought that, some black women, they have a long hair. Because me, why should I don't need to do like that, to have a wig or fake hair, because I have a real hair. So yes, Morena. So I always wash my hair, and I don't want my hair, because I love to do like that on my hair. I don't want, my smelly hairs. Oh my God, so that, so embarrassing that somebody, you have a long hair but you have a smelly hair. So I think, I'm not saying all black women are like that. Okay, there's some black women that they have a high standard personal hygiene. But for those people that, when they say something to other women in other side of the world, they think that they are the best among women. So that sometimes, when you do something, things like that, don't so exaggerated about saying women, because not all women are like you. Not all women are the way that is not the way that you think about them. Okay, so why, even though that we have so much issue about Filipina, why Western women pick Filipina to be part of, to pick their mate? Why, if we are not if we are have that kind of issue. They have to spend their money, travel 8,000 miles away just to see that Filipina. Because I do believe that in your country you still have women there. Why you have to pick us? That's a good question. Okay, so let's go back to the rice thing. So in short, Filipinas serve rice because it's know how people eat here, not for any hidden or harmful purpose. All right? The humor is just like silly misinterpretation of old saying meant to stop food waste. And I remember when I was a kid, when we eat, well, my parents are very, they teach us to have a table manners. We always, when we eat, you cannot see a single what do you call it, granules of rice in our plate. We always eat all. So, and until now, and then our parents train us that after we eat, we always bring our plate to the sink. Don't leave your plate on the table. We never do that. I never do that. And Frank can testify that I will. We've been, we've been so many years been together. I never leave my plate in the table because I use that. When I was 1 year old, my mother started to train us. You have to, at least, we still able to bring that plate in. Our big sister will put it that on the sink. So I never do that, leave after I eat, leave my table, my empty plate on the table. I never do that. So guys, okay, don't think that it's part of, it's part of love, that person. Don't get scared. If you're not really into that, you're not eating rice, then you can say, you just escape. Okay? So don't take it that as it's a, it's a problem about, Filipina feed your feed you a lot of rice. You can tell to her, you don't want to eat rice. Then fine. But never stop your Filipinan to eat rice, because you might have problem with her. Okay. Rice is life. Remember that rice is life. Because that's the, here in the Philippines, that's the number one, literally main food here in the Philippines, rice. Like I said, that the staffel. Okay, what country in Southeast Asia the top uh, country that eat a lot of rice? Because for your information, guys, we're not Filipino eat a lot of rice. Okay, number one, take note this. Number one, from top five country in Southeast Asia eat a lot of rice per day. Okay, number one is Myanmar. So this is annual, annual person per person, yearly. Oh, okay, they eat two 279 kilograms of rice annual. Number 2 is Cambodia. So they ate like 248 kilograms of rice per annual. Number 3, Vietnam. 228 kilogram. This is, I'm talking per person. Annual kilograms per person, all right? And then number 4 is Laos. Laos is like 227 kilogram. And then the 5th is Philippines. 194 to 200 kilograms of rice annual. So we're not really into that. But you know, there's 4 countries, people who eat more than us. And then, you know, and in South Asia, not Southeast, in South Asia, number 1 rice consumer is Bangladesh. They eat 676 grams per day. Yeah, me, when it comes to rice, I'm very like, you know, just Western people, they just rice is rice, okay? But me, I know what kind of rice I really want to eat. It's just like rice, I just gonna eat that. No. There's a certain variety of rice that I would love. But anyway, here in the Philippines, we have so many kinds of rice, all right? We have, when it comes to sticky rice, we have white sticky rice, and we have red sticky rice, and then purple sticky rice. Okay, that's sticky rice. But for not sticky rice, we have white rice. So the white rice, so many varieties. Okay, there's you know, the white rice, you have also type of rice for fried rice, and then brown rice, black rice, red rice, and then brown rice. When I was there, I used hand to eat rice. Oh yeah, we Philippine. It's just like, you know, it's just like we Filipino, we use. That's a very common. That's very common. But you know, for Western people, you know, they think that we don't have table manners. And then sometimes you do like that, you know. Have you noticed the tricks, you know, when we eat on the table, we do like that, you know, our knees, and then eat like that. Have you noticed about that when you're here in the Philippines? It's not the thing is manner, that it's just like how we feel, how we enjoy the food. My goodness. But it's just like in your, you know, in your house. We do that. Okay, so any question about you guys eating rice, you know? Okay, so once again, guys, I would like, you know, I would like to, don't be afraid of that. Okay, that's, you know, it's not true, because like I said, if the man or woman, it doesn't matter, whatever you take care of, you know, your girl or your wife, your husband, if they want to cheat on you, this kind of myth, it will not help you if they want to cheat you. Okay? So the answer is that is find the right one, so that you know that person will appreciate you, so that you will not be afraid, oh, I'm gonna get fat, or because they think that, no, from the start, you don't have to think that, because you're gonna marry for what? For another woman to attract you? That's normal, guys. Oh my goodness, that's normal. But you don't have to end up that your wife or your husband, you gonna replace them for another man or for another woman. That's no good. Okay? That's not that's unacceptable, guys. Okay, once you married. Okay? So don't be afraid. And then here's the thing, guys. Don't be afraid to taste different dish. Okay? If you don't really take that, say no. Don't force yourself to eat that, especially you're gonna do online. You look so stupid about that. Okay? If you don't taste the food, don't say anything. All you have to do is, I don't want. So, but if you're gonna criticize the food, make sure that you taste it. All right? I had a frog leg last time. Oh, I like frog. Tastes like chicken. That's why it's very important to pick your partner or your mate. Okay? It's not the only thing that you like them because they're young or what. You have also to pick your mate that you have something in common, particularly how you think, how you look the future together. That's very important, guys, because if you're gonna look to your partner that they're young, okay, young, you can still have that. But how is your future together if you're getting old? If this person don't really appreciate you when you get old. Okay, because like, you know, majority of us when we're young, they think that, sex is love. No, it's not. It's part of, but it's not. Okay, because there's a certain time that our body were really into that. Okay, we're very aggressive, but times goes by, that kind of feeling starts to lessen. So it's very important to pick a partner that has concern, that has care for you, no matter what changes in your life is. Remember, guys, that not only women encounter menopause, men also encounter, but anthropos for men. Okay, but different, different reaction or different symptoms that men can have, that same thing with a woman. Okay, so yes, I we, men and women, don't think, okay, guys, for men, don't think there's only men love sex for that. Okay, we do. Women also, we love that. We love that. All right, but it's when you get old, your priority in life is no longer that. Okay, you have to think that, because when you're young, you don't really think that. When you get older, your priorities in life is different. than you were young. Okay? When you get old, for men, you always follow what the big head said, not your small head. When you are young, you always follow what the small head tells you. But when you're old, you're getting older, you're always aware of what the big head tells you. We have to be selective on the mate we choose for character, values, and etc. Yes. Yeah. You lose of testosterone. Testosterone. Yes, true. Because, here's the thing, when you get old, like, not all women have that care for those, like, I really give credit to those Filipina. I'm talking Filipina, that they have older husband. Some Filipina, they're very care for that. Okay, they don't. They love to, but they don't want to gamble the life of their husband, because after that, sometimes when you get old, for men, your body tells, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that." Like, you think, as what I mean, no, 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 no. For older men, when you was young, your body says, "Okay, I can do that. I can do that many times a day." But when you get older, guys, your mind says, "Oh, I can do that," but your body said, "Come on, give me a break." Okay. Yes, that's true, guys. But the thing that about about sex, guys, that's very healthy. That's very healthy, good for the heart. That's good exercise. That's a good blood circulation. But when you're old, your mind said, "Oh, I can do this. Okay, I can do this." But your body said that, "Come on, give me a break." You know what I mean. Okay. So for those men that don't think that we women, we don't like that. We like. But when you get older, your priority in life is change. Okay? Like, I don't want to give that rest, to my man, that when I do that as much as I can, because I'm younger than him, I don't want him to rest, and he lose his life. So you have that kind of mind that you concern about him. So you don't want to do that to him. Okay? But for young people, if you are not really into that, oh, you're no good. I'm sure. You're no good. You are not good partner. As like what Rick James, you know, she's a kid, you know, like when you are young, you are so super freak, okay? But when you are old, men and women, you are not like that, because you change your priority in life, okay? It's part of when you are young, but when you're old, it's not. I rather go that way than back home in nursing home. Well, I cannot, that's the reason why I have to give also side in, like in the West, that, if you have working how can you take care of your parents or your husband if you're working? So if you don't have job, how can you feed your husband? How can you feed your wife? So I think that's the main thing that, uh, there's a home care or nursing home in the States because of that. They cannot, they cannot uh, go to job if they are taking of you. But, for those don't have job, yeah, as long as you have financially stable, then, you don't need to bring your wife or your husband to the nursing home. You're the one because it's part of your vow. Wow, he's too young. Yeah, we don't want that. Okay, you don't want to happen that. I know some men, I know some men that, they want to think that, but it's just like, just only your mind, but your body said that, come on, come on. It's totally different, guys, when you're like, when I was, when I was my teenager, I don't know, guys, if you have that kind of, when I was in high school, that we have a slam book, okay, like, your name, your age, your motto in life, your ideal man, what is your, things like that. Me, I always put, what is your ideal man. I always put that in my, in my slam book. If my classmate will tell, oh, you want to share your, you want to sign in here in my slam book, and then my motto is always, I want tall, dark, and handsome. Tall, dark, and handsome. When I was teenager, okay, because it's just like I really look out for my, I really look out for my father, tall, dark, and handsome. But when I grown, tall, dark, and handsome, never mind. When you get older, your priority in life change. Is no longer tall, dark, and handsome. Just slow, nothing rough, intense. That would be my attitude towards romance when I older. Yeah, I wish you could. Hey, we always joke that we wanted to die the same way we was born, coming out of the okay. That's a thing, guys, okay? So don't be scared, okay? So if you're Filipina, if you're Filipina, will feed your, girlfriend, Filipina or wife. All you have to do, just like, so you can tell, sweetheart, I really appreciate that you really take care of me, but I hope you understand that, I'm not really into that. Okay, so don't so rude to her, because she might surprise one day she will not cook food for you. Okay, so just be polite to her. Of course, if you're gonna escape that, she will eat that rice. Guys, I have something to show you guys here. Are you familiar with this? Oh, I love this. Uh, I tried last night with, hot sauce. It's good, but I love spicy vinegar with this. We call this chicharon. The skin, oh, I'm gonna crush here so that you will hear how crunchy this one. This is chicharon. It's really good. Have you tried these tricks? Oh my god. So if there's a chicharon in the store, I never escape this. So I always get, yeah, pork skin. But it's too early to eat chicharon. So this is my snack last night. So this is long, you know. So it's just small amount. It's so good. I love that. Frank always know. I told him, "Oh, Frank, there's a teacher on." And then she said, "Oh, well, she always tells me, why don't you get two?" Oh my goodness, you really want to eat me a lot of chicharron. And then she said, you know, because it's easy, you know, because if there's a chicharron, guys, in the convenience store, it's near on my unit. It's just like in a few days, 2 days, it's gone. Because this kind of skin is so good. And then he said, you know, why don't you get two? I don't want to get that because I don't want to. I have so many, you know, guys, that's why, you know, I really want to control my mouth about that. Because, you know, when I was, before I get married, oh my goodness, you know, I'm very thin. Now my weight is 73 kilograms, guys. I don't know how much is that in pounds. When I was, you know, before I get married, you know, my weight is just like 55 kilograms. How many pounds is that? And I have also, this is my, you know, here. Oh my goodness. Chicharon, chocolate. So this is, well, I eat this when I, after, you know, this is my dessert. So this is, milk chocolate with peanut. This is, you can see it, guys. So this is a local product, but I love that kind. I love that milk chocolate with peanut. Yep, I remember having that. Yeah, that's chicharon is good with spicy vinegar, the dipping sauce, spicy vinegar, or hot chili. Ooh, I eat mine with popcorn. No, now I fast. I skip breakfast, having one meal, big ones a day. No, you know, here's the thing, guys. You know, for those people, 5 people on the live chat, don't escape breakfast. That's an important meal for our body. You can escape lunch or you can escape dinner, but never escape breakfast. And I drink a cup of hot water every day, morning, after, and night. Okay, so what's the, you know, what's the health explanation about drinking warm water? Have you know that? Me, I just, you know, I just drink I know, not lukewarm, room temperature water. So any question about, guys, you know, about rice in the Philippines? Okay, here's the thing, guys. For those, you know, for those Western people, wanted to meet your Filipina, okay, uh, I put coffee in my hot water. Okay, good. You know what, Joseph? That when I researched about coffee, it's very healthy if you're gonna take brewed coffee. No cream, just a little sugar. No cream and then just a little sugar, or you can add honey. That's very healthy. But if you're gonna add cream or any kinds of flavoring, is no good. Brewed coffee with honey and sugar, but I prefer you to use brown sugar instead of white sugar. If you're diabetes, just brewed coffee. Actually, here in the Philippines, there's a Krispy Kreme. I know that the Krispy Kreme is just like originate in the States, right? So they have, when you do a survey about, about when you buy, a dozen of Krispy Kreme, original glazed, they will have that, they will give you, when you survey that, they give you a cup of brewed coffee. And when I bought Krispy Kreme, usually I bought 1 dozen and then they give you free half dozen. So the price of the 1 dozen of Krispy Kreme, the original glaze here in the Philippines is like 465. So and then they give you a free half dozen, and then they have when you do survey, they will give you a free broad coffee. Oh, guys, the Krispy Kreme is so sweet. Okay, I don't need to put sugar on my brewed coffee. It's just like and I love the coffee from Krispy Kreme. Is so aromatic, and I love the taste of the coffee. So I enjoy eating that. So if there's no Krispy Kreme, I will not drink brewed coffee. So it sounds like I'm racist about other other donuts. So yes, that's I love that. Their coffee is so good. It helps hydration, cleaning, digestion system, and helps with blood circulation. Oh, you googled that, right? I tell them I want my coffee like me. Hot, black, and strong. Yes! I like that. Yeah, that's that's why for those people that have hypertension, they will not allow you to drink 3-in-1 coffee because there's a cream, right? So when I research about broad coffee, no cream or what, no milk, and then just add brown sugar and then honey. That's very healthy because coffee is antioxidant. Yep, already sweet once in a while. It's okay, but not all the time. Yes. Hello, mega love shout out to my friend Ganman A3. Hello, kamusta? Over the years of a couple of decades, I only put honey in my coffee. I stopped using white sugar, white flour, and salt. Actually, here in the Philippines, the real honey from because sometimes sometimes they sell fake honey, but the real honey, guys, from actually it's better not to add with the hot or too hot because the nutrients it's gonna be gone. Okay, you have to take that um raw. Like guys, uh I did that before, but I stopped doing that because my breath smell garlic. So I soak fresh garlic. I peeled the garlic, and then the pure honey. So is that the antibiotic? It really it really cleans your it cleans your blood, circulate your blood. So with the empty stomach, you have to eat the garlic with the honey. But guys, the smell, Frank, even though that I'm just talking to him, he smelled my breath, and then he said, what? Because before that, I love to take a garlic capsule, for I'm very aware of my health, so I just use the uh natural vitamin that I take. He smelled that. I stopped doing that, but that's very healthy, guys. You soak the garlic with uh, um, natural honey. That's very healthy. You have to take that with your empty stomach. But the smell is so. Ay, ay, ay. Yes, but I feel the difference. Okay. Okay. I cut down on drinking pop. Oh, yes. It's okay to drink pop, but not most of the time. Okay? But here's the thing, guys. For those older people, like 50 up, it's better to drink pineapple juice, guys. In our body, we have parasite in our body. But pineapple juice, guys, it kills bad parasite. Okay? Or worm. That's good. Me, I'm more onto water, guys. I drink pop. Okay, it depends, especially if I cook like chicken barbecue or barbecue baby back ribs. Oh my goodness. And then always that, coke on my. But if it's not, I prepare uh water, but I don't really like water, cold water, guys. Sometimes I'll use the raw sugar that's supposed to be the normal form of my coffee. Brown sugar, guys. Here in the Philippines that we have three types of sugar before, muscovado, brown sugar, and then refined. I thought tequila kills the world. Pineapple juice. Re- you know, uh, Go to Google, Joseph. You will see what I talking about. That's why I now the I and then pineapple is high in fiber. So that's why that's one of Frank. I always give him orange juice. You can mix orange juice and pineapple juice. Not drinks, huh? Juice. That's good for older people, especially if you have if you have a constipation. That's very good. Exercise is so essential. I do 4 to 5 times a week. Really? Oh my goodness. You go to the gym 4 or 5 times? Wow. It's high in acid, gives me heart. Ah, okay. Hmm. If you're high in acid, all you have to do just if you have what do you call that? Juice instructor. Cucumber, guys. And then mix with celery. It less your acid with an empty stomach, guys. You don't need to add any kinds of sweeteners, okay? Just like that, Joseph, it helps. Here in the States, a lot of people are addicted to drinking from Starbucks and Dutch brews. And those lines are wrapped around the corner to pay $8 bucks a cup and get type of coffee. My goodness. You know, actually you can make that in your own. All you have to do is just buy, actually, whew, that's too much for the price of cup of coffee. My goodness. I know how to make coffee taste like Starbucks. I know how to roast because my mother teach us how to roast, pick the right beans, coffee beans, and then you have to roast that. She teach us because my dad loves to drink brewed coffee. So we learn how to roast and pick the right beans because not all beans is just good for making coffee. You have to pick the right one. The right age of coffee, to pick. At home, just push up, jumping jacks, squat, and do walking as well. During the pandemic, guys, I do exercise every day because I did I'm so scared. So I think that the reason why I have anxiety attack. Oh my god, I can't control myself. This one time happened, guys, because that time I'm so I overthink about that because Frank is older than me, and then I can see all the hospital here is crowded, and there's a lot of people when they go to the hospital, when they get out in the hospital, they all dead. So I'm overthink about that, and then one time I have that early in the morning, guys, I have anxiety attacks. I overthink about that. In that time there's no vaccine, but we have vaccine here, the Sinovac from China, but it's not tested and proven. It's just like they use that because they needed, it's emergency, but it's not yet finished about the how they process, once it came out on the market to be used, that for people is not yet tested and proven, but they have to use that. So I'm scared about that. And then good thing that Frank's still watching. And then there's an American veteran, he's a vlogger, that he said that, oh, for those American that veteran, you can able to go to the to the veteran office in Manila because they have J&J vaccine. So that's the time that I feel okay. So I do exercise every day because I want myself become healthy. What will happen to us if I'm give up? What will happen to Frog? So I think that I have that anxiety attack, that but just one time happened. So when I got my J&J vaccine, I start not to worry about that because I know to myself that I already have that kind of vaccine that my body can able to fight if something that it I got that from other, I my body is already protected for that. A juicer, I think yeah, juicer, but we call that food. instructor, you instruct. Yeah, juicer. Yeah, kinda. I go to gym at least the same. I don't work. I'm retired, so I got to keep moving. Actually, at your age, Joseph, it's better to, brisk walking. You have to do that every day. Just 30 minutes, you're good with that. 30 minutes. Not over, over 30 minutes is no good for you. Just walk every day, just 30 minutes. Or if you have swimming pool, all you have to do just also to have, to give you have strong legs or water therapy. Just soak your body there in the swimming pool for 30 minutes and then just walk on the water. You don't have to swim. Okay, all you have to do is just soak your body or your legs in the swimming pool and walk on the swimming pool. That's good also for those older people, especially at your age. Any question, guys? So don't forget to give me a thumbs up, guys. Okay, for those not yet part of my membership, feel free. Okay, I would like to, I would like also to invite Tricks. If you want, you can join with my membership, and also Ganman 83. I want to get Filipino skinny. I want to get Filipino skinny. What do you mean? Thank you. I want to get Filipino skinny. What? What do you mean, Joseph? Are you in a relationship, right? Oh, I have, I have a single sister. Oh, she's so small. She's short. I'm taller than her. Flat stomach. Flat stomach? Really? You want have that six pack? Can foreigner lease land like lifetime lease? What? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can lease, but you can't own the land. Yes, you can, Tricks, but you can't own the land. What do you mean, yes? No. What? No, just want to look down, see my little friend. Ah, okay. How tall are you? Like, well, I have a sister because like us, we all nine girls, but just only in my family. Well, just three. Three of us is a little tall, not really tall. Me, I'm 5'5". No, I'm 5'4". And then my other sister is 5'7", and then the other one is 5'2" or 5'3". But the rest of my sister, they are short. For 11, I have sister that her height is 4'11". She get that from my mother, because my mother's side, they are small. They're petite and short. They are, I think my mother, she's 5. Because my father is 5'10", and my mother is just like here. But I got my genes with I got my genes to my father. So now, any question? you're very you're very health conscious, body conscious. Some Filipinos think if they have some weight, not fat, but not skinny, they think they are chubby. Oh yeah, like me. But like I have a round face, okay? And then Fran told me, "You're not fat, okay? You're thick." Well, it's just like, I really want to have, because here we have gym here. I really want to, I want to have a gym instructor or coach, because I want to, I want to do exercise that it really, because if I want to, if I want to, I have a little belly, not a little belly, not big belly. I don't want really to flat, too less. I like women with not normal weight, just a little more than normal. Okay, that's nice. Not American fat. Yeah, I think that's the reason why majority of women and men there in the States, because like when you eat like in the restaurant or the fast food chain, the serving is big. So here we give you a big ball of rice. Rice is life, remember that. So any question? A lot of states women fat average is 160 to 200 pounds. How many kilo is that? American woman. Let me see. Okay. So my weight is like 161 pounds. So 161 pounds. But before I get married, I'm very thin. 55. Women are tall in America too. Well, actually, guys, I'm not really pure Filipino. As you can see, guys, a pure Filipino here, just like black American guys. But they are not tall. They have same color, they have same texture of hair, but they are short. I'll show you guys the real, if I can able to share with you guys. We call that, katutubo. I don't know for those you guys, if you've been here in the Philippines, go to Subic, SBMA. There's a lot of katutubo there, or katutubo Filipino. They really look like black American. Look. See? That's how real Filipino look like. Can you see it, guys? There you go. They have dark skin. And then the hair, I'll show you more. Here. See? I oops. Oh, you can't really see. You know that the texture of their hair is same with the black people. But me, yeah, they are called it. Hi kids, good morning. Buenos dias. Rice is life. I think restaurant ocean size out there contribute to heavy weight gain. From tricks, rice field expensive there. It's according what type of rice tricks. They are say ha. They say they ha. That was supposed to say portion size, Lilibeth. So that's my weight, 160 to 161 pounds. I feel that I'm fat. Are the condos there for 900k pesos? What do you mean? The price? No, it's not. I'll give you some figures. Here in my place, the condo unit here for sale for 2 bedrooms, like 45. No. 75 square meter is 4.5 million pesos. So for the studio, like about 2.5 million. And then if you want to buy a car, the parking slot for one car is 1.2 million to 1.5 million. Especially if you pick the gated community with 24/7 security guards. So it depends the places But you can get that 900 K for those area. It depends the area. But if you're gonna look here in my area, millions, the price, millions. They say they have big bones. What do you mean big bones? Are the condos there? Okay. No, 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 no. I already answered that. Hi, Kiss. Yeah, Aita. Or Katutubo. Ita. I saw when I was there last year. Okay. I at I tried friend father was in the what? Yeah, that's why Filipino they said, okay, we are the end of Asia. The N word, we are the end of Southeast Asia. So my Filipina wife does not feed me. That's why you're so funny. You're funny. You're funny. You're funny, Kiss. What she feed you? Bread? That time out was mistakes. Sorry, okay. Si Kiss talaga. Condominium property. Yeah, here's the thing, tricks, that it's according what place you pick. If you if you pick like in like particularly BGC, the price of condo unit there is kind of a pricey compared to other places. But the price is based on the place where you pick. Airbnb investment. That's good, that's good investment, but you have to, I give you some tips about, when it comes to Airbnb investment. It's just like make sure that the area is, the location, I mean, is near to the malls, near to the hospital, near to the airport, and near to the bank. Property is high around the airport behind you. Yes, true. There's so many high-rise building there that they build. It makes me that's hilarious when you said that, Kiss. When it comes to um, real estate business here, it takes a lot of time to do your research, because here's the thing, guys. Here in the Philippines, that when you buy a condo unit, the span years of that condo is 50 years. And then after 50 years, that it depends if that condo, if it's not profitable, guys. So sometimes it will not reach to the point that you have to wait 50 years. But if it's not profitable, they're gonna, they're gonna turn, they're gonna demolish that. But it's according, because that's the reason why there's so board management in every gated community here in the Philippines. All right. So it's according, if sometimes, you have to be aware of tricks if you want to do that real estate thing. So you have to be aware of, the view of your condo unit that you wanted to buy. Is this, is this vacant on the left side, the right side? Is this vacant in the front or back? Because you must be aware of that, because if there's a vacant lot in front of your condo unit, it gonna be ruin the views of your condo. So you have to be aware of that. So it's okay if there's no vacant lot. And if there's a vacant lot, is this lot, it will affect, 10 years from now. So I'm sure they're gonna build something there. It really ruin your business. It's cheaper to build a house out in the province. Yes. Yes. It's cheaper compared here in the city. But the thing is, I don't really want to, like, in my point of view, Joseph, especially for those, older Western people, it's better, well, you cannot build a house or own the land here. So it's better for you to buy a condo or apartment. You can own that you can put it that in your name. But if you're gonna build a house, that's kind of kind of questionable, guys. And then, if you're older, it's better for you to stay in the city or near to the city, if in case of emergency. Okay, because here's the thing, guys. There's a lot of Filipino die not in their illness, but, the long trouble going to the hospital. That's that's the cause of their death. Okay, it's not funny, but it's just like, you have to think about that before you're gonna build a house in the province, because not all the province, guys, in the Philippines has hospital. You have to travel about 1 hour to 2 hours in the province before you go to the city, because like in the barangay, they don't have hospital. They have health center, but they don't have hospital. So you must be aware of your health. 50 years, wow, yes, it's true. But sometimes it's not. So it depends, there's a legal, there's a legal talk about that, but I cannot really give you guys a specific. But it's just like when I do a research about that, if it's that, the spam years of the condo, but it might possible they gonna demolish that before the 50 years, especially if that condo unit is not profitable. If they're gonna turn out that they're gonna build like mall. So if they think that when they build a mall it's more profitable, so I don't know what's the thing, the money that you bought for that is that, sometimes it's not good also to invest real estate here, because it's yours for the lifetime. All right. So it's based on the owner that, if they really want to, to have a sustainable income, so they have to look for something new about that. Yet, but when you're leasing a land, just for farming, that would be okay. But if you're gonna build a house, no, or any kind of building, no, it's not. But if you can list that for farming, yes, that would be good. But for building tricks, no. Don't gamble your money for nothing. Your time is your time. Yes, it's true. Pera pera before demolition. Leasing apartment. Okay, guys, so I will not stay long. So I would like to thanks to Tricks once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for your thank you very much for your donation. So you're the donators. You're the sponsor of my show for today about myth or fact. Filipina feed the husband so he gets fat. So women are not attracted to him. So it's not true, guys. It's just like a myth. All right. So once again, Tricks. So this is my appreciation for you. Mm, wow. So I have a house in the state that I pay insurance and property taxes. If I don't, they will take it. Okay, guys. So once again, see you in the next live. So thank you so much, Joseph, Ganman, Kiss, Tricks for coming and my show. So until next time, Lilivet Tate channel is out. Bye everyone.